The plan clearly was to supplement a highly paid and hopefully elite defense with a young, dynamic offense. That's why you've seen 5 straight years of an offensive guy getting picked first. That's why you've seen 11 of their last 16 picks in rounds 1 through 3, offensive guys. They drafted a running back. They drafted a wide receiver or 2 or 3, Chase Claypool and Pickens. They drafted all kinds of linemen. They drafted a quarterback, 20th overall. They drafted a tight end as a luxury pick. And guess what? I think we can now say that that mission failed so miserably with Kevin Colbert involved, Omar Khan involved, Mike Tomlin involved, that it's done. That era's done. And this offense, with most of those guys either leaving now or gone, this offense just finished a season in which it didn't have a single touchdown on its first drive of a game.
Stretching back to last year.
Finished 29th in red zone scoring and had 29 yards and 14 points in another blowout playoff loss. What a blanking disaster this was, born of the arrogance of some of those picks, ill-advised picks, misguided hires in now 2 different coordinators, maybe 3 if you want to include Fichtner. It's just been a study in mismanagement on how to go into life after a legendary quarterback. Just a study in rampant mismanagement.
Well, I'm going to speak to the plan of trying to come up with a succession plan for a quarterback. Because I said this yesterday, and I really believe it looking back. And I know it's easy to look back. I guarantee you that a lot of people do now, but at the time they may have believed this. If your plan was to draft a quarterback in 2018 as the ultimate successor to Ben Roethlisberger, they justified it when they took at pick 76 in round 3 a guy who they said they had a first-round grade on.
Traded up for him.
But a lot of people didn't have a first-round grade on it.
Right.
If their plan was to come away with a quarterback in that draft, why not Lamar Jackson in round 1?
44 picks is all that separated Lamar from Mason.
Terrell Edmonds ahead of him.
Garden variety safety.
And it was just because it was a need. Okay, you could find needs. But if your plan, this is why I don't think they really had a plan. If the plan was to come up with a quarterback in that draft who you can sit for a year or 2 or whatever the case may be until he's called upon, why not Lamar Jackson, who by all accounts was rated much higher than Mason Rudolph, and you had the chance to do it. Now, you may have thought going in you wouldn't get that chance, but he ended up getting 32nd overall.
Yes, 32nd.
If your plan was to get a quarterback, why not him? Why wait till a 3rd round to get a guy who you may like, but obviously that assessment of him was wrong?
Why not him? I mean, that's something that they'll study in the history books someday when they pick apart the bones of this era of Steelers football and how they failed to replace Ben.
Right, and I think every unit, we talked about Green Bay, twice they did it, much to the chagrin of their incumbent. I get all that. It's a business, though. You have to make the decision based on that. Lamar Jackson was a more accomplished, I think, in terms of his overall athleticism and what they thought. Now, he had to develop a passing game. Mason Rudolph was really good in that crazy conference that threw the ball everywhere, and he took down Baker Mayfield in a significant game. But if he was that good, he would have been taken before the 3rd round, I think. There were people who thought maybe he wasn't going to be. They thought differently. I would have just, if that's my number one issue that I want to start this plan, that would have been my choice.